Hey guys! After Hurricane Helene ravaged the land, wild hogs invaded, turning Mississippi farms into battlegrounds. Armed with Jager protein traps, farmers fought back in a tense struggle. What unexpected danger lurked in Madison that left them reeling? In Madison, a low-lying area of Mississippi, a tornado had just ripped through, leaving homes flattened, trees uprooted, roads muddy, and power lines down. The storm was bad enough, but what came next pushed the region to its limits: a surge of wild hogs. Thousands moved in at night, drawn by the smell of freshly turned soil and fields left without fences. Farmers and hunters had to act fast, using both old-school methods and modern tools to manage the threat. Some teams use advanced traps with infrared cameras and motion sensors linked to smartphones. When enough hogs enter, the system triggers and the trap snaps shut. But after the storm, with cell signals unreliable, many had to rely on simpler methods: fermented corn as bait, sharpened wooden stakes, ropes, and gut instinct. The baked corn, fermented for days, gives off a strong, sour smell that carries up to 300 feet in humid air. Setting the trap isn't random. Hunters track hoof prints, rooting marks, and hog movements for days to pick the right spot. The ground in Madison was soft and muddy like wet clay, making it tough to set traps. Each one needed stakes over 3 feet long or steel frames tied to large trees to stay secure. Without tech, it was all about experience and focus.
8.
One night, in heavy rain and wind, a large group of hogs showed up earlier than expected, more aggressive than usual. The herd broke through, heading straight for the hunters' camp. In the dark, flashlights fell, boots slipped in the mud, and sticks were swung to fend them off. A gunshot rang out. The hunters weren't just trapping, they were fighting to hold their ground. At dawn, they saw the damage. Hoof prints over 4 inches deep in the mud, trees chewed up and the trap steel frame bent. The hogs weren't just feeding, they were testing the area. After that night, the approach changed. The number of lookouts doubled, with shifts rotating every 3 hours. Drones patrolled the area and traps were fitted with GPS trackers and vibration alarms. New traps were tested on smaller groups of 20 to 30 hogs before being used on larger herds. The key takeaway? Wild hogs don't fear traps, they only respect determined humans. You would think farmers would cull all these pigs, right? But hunters don't usually process the meat. But the quality varies depending on the method of capture. One study compared meat from 60 wild boars, 20 trapped, 20 still hunted, and 20 hunted collectively. Weighing between 90 and 150 pounds, the pig's longissimus dorsi muscles were tested for pH, colour, juice yield, loss on cooking, and tenderness at 1, 24, and 48 hours after slaughter. The results show that well-managed pen traps produced meat of comparable quality to hunting traps, with no significant negative effects, making traps a solid choice for both control and processing. If you've tried them, let me know how they tasted. To confront a wild hog, a 200-pound giant with sharp tusks and a knockdown instinct, you need a durable arsenal of skills to back it up. Your primary weapon is the AGM Rattler TS25, 384 thermal sight, which can detect heat signatures up to 400 yards through brush or fog. In addition to your weapon, you'll need to be safe in your gear, wearing dark, silent clothing and sturdy shoes to move undetected. But gear alone isn't enough to train relentlessly. Spend hours at the range, aiming your rifle at 50 and 100 yards, practicing rapid-fire shooting to simulate the chaos of a wild hog attack. Is taking on wild hogs in the middle of the night an effective method for Texas? As a hunter, you need to prepare like a seasoned agent. Get permission from landowners in Texas. No permit is required to hunt wild hogs on private land. Choose a moonless or cloudy night to get your thermal scope lit up, and always check the wind because wild hog noses can smell you from a mile away. Zero your sights at 100 yards and make sure your thermal batteries are fully charged. A broken scope is the worst enemy on the job that you can't afford. From your truck or elevated vantage point, scan the entire field with a thermal scope, locking on to the glowing silhouettes of a herd of 10 to 50 hogs. Aim for the heaviest leaders and note their locations on your GPS. Now, move forward stealthily, crouching low using the fence to conceal your approach. Stop and scan every 50 yards to track their movements, as hogs are fast and unpredictable. Through the thermal scope, aim for the key area to take out the leader. With the semi-automatic fire of the AR-15, you can take out multiple targets before they disperse, but each shot must be accurate. A wounded hog can charge at 20 MP, so hunting regulations apply. After the gunshot, scan the area with your thermal to detect the collection of the hogs. Respect local rules. Some landowners want to clear the carcasses, others leave them for scavengers, which is a no-no that can disrupt the ecosystem. Record the number of wild boar knocked down to track the impact of the hunt, knowing that each pig you take down is a direct hit to their destructive rage. What happens if you screw up? Ruin wild hog hunt and you'll not only lose a night, but risk disaster.
Get him right there.
A missed shot will scatter the herd, causing them to disappear and destroy more fields. Worse yet, a wounded 300-pound hog can turn predatory, charging at you. In 2023, a Texas hunter learned this the hard way, ending his wild hog hunt after a missed shot enraged his target. Walk into the wind and the hog's keen nose will chase you a mile away, disappearing before you get close.
Hey!
Worst of all, misread the scope and shoot a protected deer instead of a hog, and you'll face fines or jail time. Every mistake is a win for the hogs, leaving farmers deep in the red. Why is it so important to deal with it? Wild hogs are a crisis with a rapidly growing population of 3 million in Texas. Without aggressive hunting, their numbers could double in a decade, costing billions more dollars. But uncontrolled hunting, ignoring regulations that leave injured hogs, or overhunting can be counterproductive, disturbing local wildlife or triggering legal and community backlash. Hunters must work with landowners, comply with Texas's license-free hog hunting regulations, and hunt ethically to keep the fight clean. Without proper management, the hogs will take over, leaving the land devastated. In the scorched desert of southern Arizona, the San Pedro River was once a green haven teeming with wildlife. By the 1990s, it was a ghost river, dry most of the year. Its wetlands wrecked by overgrazing and a fur trade that nearly erased its beavers. These buck-toothed builders, once so common that the river was nicknamed Beaver River, were hunted out by the 1920s for their pelts and castoreum. But in 1999, Arizona's wildlife folks started bringing them back, releasing 15 beavers into Cochise County's parched streams. By 2006, over 30 dams and maybe 100 beavers had transformed the place. Dry gullies became ponds, wetlands bloomed, and birds like the endangered willow flycatcher surged by 50%. The river flowed longer, even during droughts, saving ranchers and reducing wildfire risks. But beavers don't just build dreams, they can stir up trouble. Their dams flooded fields, swamped roads, and turned pastures into bogs, ticking off farmers. By 2010, beavers were chewing through cottonwoods faster than they could grow, threatening orchards and shade trees that old timers cherished. In 2008, a flood wiped out all 30 dams, though the beavers rebuilt fast. By 2019, their numbers crashed to a handful. Some blame mountain lions, others whisper about illegal poaching. A grim nod to the fur trade days. So, how do you keep these beavers in check without wrecking their good work? First up, there's the beaver deceiver, a clever tool catching on fast. It's a sturdy PVC pipe or sometimes a big drainage tube, slipped right through a beaver dam. The pipe lets water flow quietly without the rush or noise that'd tip off the beavers to plug it back up. This keeps water levels low enough to save nearby fields and roads from flooding, all while leaving the wetlands, those life-giving ponds beavers create, untouched. Ranchers are all for it. No need to tear down dams or butt heads with nature. The Bureau of Land Management's been setting these up since the 2000s, especially around farms where folks want to coexist with beavers, not chase them off. For bigger problems, like when beavers overbuild or chew too many trees, trapping steps in. From November to April, Arizona's regulated trapping season lets licensed hunters use specialized gear to catch beavers, harvesting fur or castoreum for perfumes. It's about balance, not wiping them out. Relocating beavers is an option, but it's pricey and rare. Strict rules prevent a repeat of the 1,800 S fur trade frenzy though. Overtrapping could still harm the ecosystem. By 2024, San Pedro's beaver count hit 11 to 14, but with deceivers and careful trapping, the river stays lush. We just gotta manage them right. Using guns this way is counterproductive. First, it's a legal mess that puts poachers at risk of fines or worse, especially given Arizona's strict wildlife laws. It's reckless, and bullets don't just hit beavers, they can ricochet and hit nearby animals. Plus, stray bullets near the US-Mexico border, where the San Pedro River runs, add to tensions with concerns about cross-border smuggling, like the gun trafficking lawsuits Mexico has filed against Arizona dealers. So here's the question, if you were a rancher who lost a crop to a beaver dam, would you pick up a rifle or trust humane equipment to keep the floodplain safe?
These approaches have been great at stopping the spread of some invasive species. Got any ideas for even better solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can all dive into it together. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, be sure to tell your friends about us too so they can check it out. Bye and see you in the next video.